We are live with the Oxfit podcast. Good morning, everybody. Grab my drink. Happy Wednesday, Tuesday. It's not Wednesday. Happy Tuesday. How we doing? Hopefully you can hear me. Let me know. Caitlin, who's listening? Who's the number one listener? Let me see. Make sure. Am I on? Oh, good morning, Caitlin. Caitlin, how's it sound? Going with the mic that you got. Let me know. Is it good audio? Is it crackly? Is it looking good? What are we working on today? It sounds good? She said she likes it. Hey, she likes this mic. What I'm going to start with today, wait, give me 1 second. I'm a little disheveled this morning because I had a meeting with the head of Killshot Media. I don't know if you've met him. His name's Lucas Hicks. He's the CEO of Killshot Media. There's a little echo, Keith says. Ooh, I don't like that. Hey, Keith, how's that sound? There's a little echo. Okay. Should have a part to go on. I don't think it's that. I'm not putting this on. But how's the echo now? Hey, Keith, how's that sound? I turned the echo all the way down. Great. He said it sounds great. Says my audio is great. There's 4 people on there. How does it sound? I turned the echo thing all the way down. Mic up. Mute. Echo is solved. Look at that. What a team. See? That's what it's about, being on an Oxfit team. I worked out in the 7 a.m. this morning, and we were a team in there. I'm not putting that thing on top of it. Look at that thing. I'm not putting my mouth near that. I don't even know what that is, Caitlin. All right. No echo. Let's go. That sounds like something Caitlin would say. What did Caitlin say this morning? Caitlin said, what did you call it? Nature's pocket, which is one of the worst things I think I've heard in a long time. Your nature's pocket. And your meat sticks. Your arms are your meat sticks. And when you're swinging a kettlebell, you got to get it in. You got to really focus on nature's pocket, is what she said. And that was not, do not use that terminology, coaching classes. I'm going to put that. Savannah, if you're listening, put that on the list of things that go in the coach's notes for next week. We don't use that terminology. He said, no, not nature's pocket. Yep. That's what was happening at 7 a.m. this morning. But also what was happening at 7 a.m. this morning was there was a vibe in the gym. There was a vibe going on this morning. We had 2 people. We played the name game. We had 2 people just name everybody. And he said Kiki already knows. But yeah, we had a great class. We had fun. And it made me think about something that, a lot of people are thinking about to start the year. A terminology jar. We should start a terminology jar and have a list of things that you're not allowed to say. And nature's pocket is right there up the top of the list. No more nature's pocket. Oh, shoot. What else should go in that terminology jar? So yeah, I had to meet with Killshot Media this morning. We're going over all our media. for this year. Got some really exciting stuff we're working on. Just threw me a little behind, but we're on. We're live. We don't have an echo. And I want to show you what I've been working on. Talk to you what I've been working on. A lot of cool stuff. Oh my God. This thing's going crazy now. But one thing I've been working on, I am reading through this Atomic Habits workbook. So me and Savannah read Atomic Habits last year, and it's an amazing, amazing book. James Clear, and gives you a list of things to do, and like you take a lot away from it when you first read it. But I'm one of them people that doesn't kind of like takes things from a book and like I implement them my own way, right? But this year I thought that hasn't worked very well. I want to make it work better. So the first thing they have you do is before you even go into how you're going to change your habits, you take like an analysis of what you already do, right? So I've started this and I've never done something like this before, right? I would think, what a nerd. Someone doing the homework from the book. But you track your time literally from 4 a.m. and it goes to like 3 a.m. But I haven't been up till 3 a.m. in a long time. So mine goes till midnight because sadly I do end up staying up till midnight. And you just do one word of what you did in that hour. And I really like it. So, like Monday, for example, 4 a.m. to 5, I was still asleep. Then at 5 a.m., I was up. 6 a.m., I was coaching. 7 a.m., coaching. 8 a.m., driving. 9 a.m., I worked out. 10 a.m., I was writing. 11, eating, et cetera, et cetera. So, you're doing a time analysis and you just do it for the whole week. So, I'm going to do it for 1 week. And then I'll check in with you next week and we'll see what we learned from it. But I just wanted to set that up for you. If anybody wants to do that, if anybody wants to follow along, grab the Atomic Habits workbook. Read Atomic Habits. Audio version is good, but the book is great too. I still like having a book. Do you guys like having a book, or are you good with, like just going straight audio? Sometimes when I go straight audio, I feel like I listened to the whole book and I didn't take anything in. But maybe again, that's just yeah, I'm not going to put a definition on it, but that's just the way my mind works. I'm distracted a lot. But today's workout, let's get back to that, made me think a lot about people's goals this year and what we're working towards, and fitness in general. And I don't know if you had this a lot, but in England, a lot, and a lot of people have been doing it. We talk about there being these blue zones. And these blue zones are places like Okinawa. I tried to pull it up and then it messed me up, but let me try and pull it up so I can give you the exact blue zones. But the blue zones are Okinawa in Japan, Ikaria in Greece, Sardinia in Italy, Nicoya in Costa Rica, and unbelievably, Loma Linda in California in the USA. And in these blue zones, people live 10 years longer. They live a decade longer than everywhere else in the world. And people have studied these blue zones now. So they're like, what's going on in these blue zones? Why are people living a decade longer? My thing is, it's not that they're living a decade longer. That's the amazing part. Like, they do have a lot of people that live to 100 years old. But these people are living to 100 years old and they're healthier. So, like, I don't want to live to 100 but be sick for 30 years, which is what I think we are living a little bit longer, but we're sicker for so much longer. What the healthcare system's really good at is keeping you alive, right? Not necessarily keeping you healthy, not necessarily, but keeping you. We're so good at keeping you alive. We're so good at keeping you in the healthcare system. We're so good at just you still being here, but not being able to get out your house, not being healthy, not being able. But in these blue zones, these people are healthy. They're still adventurous. They're still walking around. They're still working. They're still volunteering. They're still doing all that stuff, right, in these blue zones, which is why I think these blue zones are so amazing. Not, oh, yeah, you're just alive longer, which is what America is really good at. We will keep you alive. You will not want to be alive, but we'll keep you alive longer, right? So they've studied these blue zones. And what I used to hear about all the time was, especially in England, and I think it's here too, is, oh, in these blue zones, they drink red wine. In these blue zones, they eat a lot of vegetables. In these blue zones, they're vegan and they eat nuts and oh, what else do they do? They get a lot of vitamin D. They get a lot of vitamin D. So vitamin D. So take your vitamin D. Drink red wine. They get vitamin D. So maybe you go for a walk, or maybe you just take vitamin D. What else do they do? Let's have a look. I got it listed here. They, um, oh, they do spend a lot. They're social, right? So, set a date night. So you have a checklist of things that the blue zone people do, and it's you take vitamin D, you drink red wine, you eat nuts, and you eat a lot of vegetables. So there was a thing in England: 5 a day. Get your 5 fruits and vegetables a day, and then you're good. You're gonna live forever if you follow that, right? And that's what I took from the 7 a.m. class today that I took. Um, the workout. You could look at that class and be like, so what was the workout? What was the programming? What happened in the workout? What did you and in so many ways, the way we work out is awesome, right? It was high intense interval training. There was a heavy kettlebell involved. There was, jump rope. There was machines, cardio. Like my heart rate was through the roof. I was dying. I was sweating. Like it was awesome. The workout was incredible. And that's what I think it's like when you take red wine from the blue zone. It's like, oh, like yeah, the workout was great, but what else? What did you miss if that's all you pulled out of it, right? Like they went and scientists went and studied these blue zones, and then they came back and their recommendation was vitamin D, eat vegetables, and drink red wine. Like if you came away from an Oxfit class and you were like, um, all you thinking about is the workout, you missed the point. You missed the what happened there, right? The engagement, the interaction. Like I didn't just feel great from a workout from doing the class. I talked to everybody. We were laughing and joking. I had my partner that I kept going. They kept me going. We were talking shit. We had a race where we were competing with each other, and it was a fun, friendly competition. And literally everybody knew each other's name. And none of that is discussed when people talk about the zones. Not to mention, these are the most beautiful places on earth, right? They are the prettiest, most beautiful. The only place is this little community in California that the weather is perfect almost every day, right? All these places have these perfect weather where it's not just they get more vitamin D, they spend more time outside than probably any other culture, right? So, what are you doing today? When are you gonna? It's a beautiful day outside. It might be cold. Forget about it being cold. Get outside. It's beautiful. Get some vitamin D. These places they're outside all the time. Doesn't They don't talk about that. Just check off vitamin D. Chicoo. And so you're missing the point of these blue zones. And like Kiki said, community is huge in these blue zones. But I hate that word now. Every single gym in Atlanta and across the US and in Europe, their front page, the thing they will tell you about is that they have a community. Everybody talks about it. In America now, if two people stand next to each other for 2 minutes, people will call it a community. That's not a community. That's not a community. There is a we have such a lack of community, right? And it's more and more becoming like people are just isolated. People are lonely. There's people right now that are on this podcast that this will be their community of the day, is like talking in a group because they're new to their job or they just sit on Zoom calls all day and their job is not to be the one that's presented on the Zoom call. So they have their camera off, they have their microphone on mute, and they're sitting, that's their work. They don't even have community at work now. And so there is no community. These blue zones, they don't have a community, man. Like to call it a community is so disrespectful in comparison to what we call community. They actually have a family. You can't even find the words for it anymore, I don't think. It's so much deeper than that. They really invest in other people and they understand the value of connection and real connection. And like in the description of some of these places, it's like they've learned how to listen. They're not just waiting for their turn to speak. They're not just like I would say, like I go to the playground down here with my kids. I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people, but how much community is there? I don't know. If I speak to someone, it's just they're waiting for their turn to talk about their sport team, or they're going to tell me a story that one ups mine, right? They're not really listening. If you had something serious to tell somebody at the playground, like something that was going, I think they'd probably be like, "Oh, that was a bit too much," right? But these places, they invest in each other. They have a real community. They have a real connection. They they care about everybody in that community, right? And that is what happens in our classes, right? Like these are real connections that I know these people's kids, I know their life, I know their job, I know what's going on with their dogs, I know what's going on, like know everything. And so to just walk away from a class this morning and be like, well, that was a good workout, you would have missed a lot of the stuff that bring you alive. Being able to, just them little like knowing each other, like really knowing each other, knowing when to push somebody and knowing who to talk shit to and knowing who to encourage and knowing who to go over to and just be like, hey, just the fact that you showed up today, it's your second day. You should be really proud of yourself. Like that's the difference in a community and having a real connection. And when you look at these blue zones, to come away from it and just have a list of things that you eat and supplements that you take, you're completely missing why these places are so special. And that's what we do because it fits into our to-do list, right? If I told you the reason that most of these people in these blue zones live to 100 is because they work on something meaningful and fulfilling with them, and they don't want to retire because they absolutely love how much of an impact they have on their community and the people around them. You can't fit that into your to-do list for 2026. That there's a lot that goes into that. There's a lot of introspection that goes into that. There's a lot of time analysis and there's a lot of sitting down and thinking about why you wake up every day and you go and do what you want to do. It's not as simple as um well, maybe instead of peanut butter I'll get almond butter, right? Like that would be nice if that's how you feel better for the next 20 to 30 years. But I don't think it is. I think in many ways, yeah, they eat less processed food. They eat less processed food. So that's going to make them feel better. But I think we're missing the point of why they actually feel better. I don't think it's scientific like that. I think it's a lot more intricate than that. And I think it's a lot more to do with how they wake up every day and what they get to do every day. And I think it's more to do with the things that are built into their lifestyle than it is what's on their checklist for the day and how much kale and how much spinach and how many tomatoes they eat today, right? Like we want it to be a connection of, oh yeah, it's because they don't smoke and they got vitamin D and they only do almonds. So that's all you got to do. Boom, boom, boom. But what I really think it comes down to is they work on something fulfilling and they work on something meaningful every day. They invest in their friends and family and they build close connections with people around them. And then in terms of food, when you look at all these cultures that we've talked about, their meal times, I don't think they're counting their macros. What they're doing is creating a mealtime that is special for them, their friends, and their family to drink wine and connect with each other and enjoy and celebrate the day and really enjoy each other's company. And it's not, okay, I just replaced beer with red wine, I'm going to live forever. It's not, oh, let me start running again, then I can get outside. It's not, oh, they eat fish, so let me just get the supersized bag of salmon at Costco. It's like, what are you doing at meal times? What do your meal times look like? How are you connecting with your family today? How are you connecting with your friends today? And then on top of that, like, what rest do you have built into this week? All these places, when you look at them, the things that I noted down from looking at the blue zones were they all have a way of life to them. Um, the Japanese have a thing that they say, um, where is it? Things will work out. And then they have once we meet, we're brothers and sisters. And then what was the other one? Life is a treasure. I love that. And then when you look at Greece, Icaria in Greece, they have a saying that's hard work with no ambition, is how it's described. So they just want to work hard, but they're not worried about the results because the work will speak for itself. It's known as the island of freedom. And they have a slow pace of life where they believe in working hard, but they don't build work as the main element of their life. It's like, hey, I'm going to work hard and then I'm going to rest. And they call it hard work without ambition. In Sardinia, it's just a small place where they hunt and fish. And they're very stoic. Right? They say all that is born must die. So they remember every day that you're gonna die. So enjoy life now. And then they talk about eagles don't catch flies. And I wish I could speak Italian but it sounds so much more beautiful. Let me try it. Sebelestru non si tret. Nope, can't do it. Eagles don't catch flies. Then when we look at Greece, they've got plan de vida, which is a reason to live, a positive outlook for elders. And that's like the purpose of their life. They don't retire. They volunteer. They look after their elderly people. They have a purpose every day. They understand that their purpose might be to help their family. They're part of it, right? And then how is there a blue zone in America, right? It's the sickest country in the world. And then there's a blue zone, a tiny little town that was started as a church in Southern California that's got 9,000 people and they on average live a decade longer, right? Every week they have a Sabbath day. They take a full day of rest. The weather there obviously is beautiful. And then they have a way of life that they encourage the elderly people and older people to volunteer and be a part of it. And some of them do not smoke, some of them follow a vegan diet, but probably just as much as the rest of us, right? So these places just have a different way of life, a different connection. And while on your to-do list this year, you might have all these goals and they are going to build to something great, right? But they've got to be part of something that helps you feel better and look better, right? They can't just be tied to like, oh, let me just do more habits. And the more habits I do, the longer I'm going to live, the better I'm going to feel. That's not the way it works. You got to know why you're doing these habits. So, yeah, the first priority, like a Maslow's hierarchy, is we have to get you feeling better. So, step number one of that list is lose weight, get in shape. That's step number one, right? I was telling someone the other day, I didn't feel great last week. Not feeling great, all I could focus on was wanting to feel better. I had all these goals written down. 2026 going to be my year. I'm ready to go. And all I could think about was I just want to feel better. How do I feel better? What do I do to feel better? So, just like in the Maslow's hierarchy, right? If you don't have food and shelter, you can't start thinking about how you want a better life. First off, you need food and shelter. Like that's the number one priority. If your health is bad, that is your number one and only priority. And that's where we start with our coaching program is we got to get you lose some weight, feel better, get in a healthy routine. Before we can do that, we don't even need to think about any other goals about how we're going to build muscle and how we're going to get to do a marathon and how we're going to get there, but before we get there, we have to get you feeling good. Because if we can't get you feeling good, all that other stuff is just extra, right? So we get you feeling good. Then what do you want to do next, right? How do you want to build these routines into your life? Most people come to me and we start off the first 30 days, and how you eat is my number one priority. That's going to give you 99% of your results. The next is working out, right? You have to work out. This is the best way to work out. We figured it out. We've been doing this for 10 years. This stuff's been around now for 20 years. We've perfected the best way to do it that you're not going to get injured. You're going to have a blast. You're going to get strong, fit, and ripped at the same time every 8 weeks. Nailed it. Dude, just show up. We got you. Now what, right? And I throw in, hey, how do you start your day? What's your mental health look like? And I really do hate that term mental health. I heard someone the other day say to somebody, how's your mental health? And the person was like, oh, well, I have ups and downs. Stress, we just talked about these blue zones. Stress is the number one killer. Stress is the number one. So forget how you eat, forget how you drink, forget all that stuff. Stress is the number one killer. So it's not how's your mental health, it's how's your health. Because if you're super fit and ripped and all that stuff, but every day your mind is racing and you're running on high and you're constantly anxious and feeling down, then your overall health is bad. You might make a pretty corpse, but you're gonna die younger, right? So, like, it's just how's your health. And while these two things, the eating right and the working out, they are cornerstones to your mental health, it's all part of health. So the next thing we do is like, how are you starting your day? What's the first thing you do? You grab your phone first? No, no, no. What are you going to do instead? What do you want to do? Do you want to meditate? Do you want to use mindfulness? Do you want to just be grateful and use gratitude? Do you want to get your, positive goal checklist together and be like, what are the good things I'm going to do today? But how are you going to start your day? Because you can't, just like with the nutrition and just like with the fitness, if you wake up in the morning and you eat Cocoa Puffs or whatever you call them in America, then you're not going to have a good day. You've put some terrible stuff in the gas tank. If you wake up and you start scrolling Instagram, X, whatever it is you scroll, Facebook, you're going to have a terrible start to your day. A terrible start to your day. It's a microphone of all the worst shit that's happening, right? So how do you want to start your day? And that's habit number 3. And that's just the base of where we start, right? We throw in a few supplements, vitamin D, for example, because most of us are going to be inside staring at these screens all day. We would love you to get out like they do in the blue zones. They're out. I bet they're outside most of the day, but not quite possible yet. Maybe we'll get there, right? I hope to be there one day when most of my day is outside. And we can start thinking about that stuff as we level up, right? As we get fitter, as we get stronger, as we get more resilient, as our mental health habits start making us feel better and more positive, we can start thinking about, is this job fulfilling and meaningful? We can start thinking about that now, right? Once our health and our wellness is there. And that's where we end up getting to with the Ox 100 program when you work with me, because that's the stuff I love talking about. I love talking about where you can take this next. And oh, like I said on multiple episodes, I've seen people get their first pull up and quit their job. I've seen people lose 20 pounds and their relationship changes fast, right? They realize, like, oh, this relationship wasn't working for me. And that's only stuff that happens when your overall health, and in that, I don't separate them out. I include your physical health, your fitness, and your mental health as one big thing that you're working towards. And so that's why it's included in everything that I do. I love psychology. I have a master's degree in psychology. I would have loved to be able to use that to help people get out of, you know, bad states and depressive states and anxious states. But this is the only way that I've found to help save people from that, is first, we got to get you moving. Movement is the best medicine there is. And then, why are our gyms? Why do you have to know everybody in the room? Why? Because that might be the only person you talk to today. And it's getting worse and worse every year. When I first started this gym, it's really easy to tell people, hey, go get to know that person. 10 years in, and a pandemic in the middle, I had to teach people again how to go up to someone and say it, right? And I make myself the joke and I say, I remember 2019, let's throw it back. I used to shake people's hands. But it's not a joke. It's really not a joke. So don't miss, when you go to the gym today, don't miss the opportunity to connect with somebody. Don't miss the opportunity to really look at someone in the eyes and say, hey, it's good to see you today. What I've started doing is I've tried to stop saying, how are you? I've tried to get rid of that, because people don't say that in other countries, really. It's a very American thing. How are you? And then someone will just say, good, how are you? And you'll say, good. And that's the end of the interaction. So what I've been working on is trying to change that. Hey, it's really good to see you today. And then I'll wait to see if they say, how's everything going with you? And then try and share something that makes them potentially want to share something, so that we can connect a little bit better. Or then ask a question like, hey, what's your goals for the next couple of weeks? What are you working on? Have you set any targets for this year? How's your job? What's going on with work? Try and get just one step deeper than, hey, how are you? Good. How are you? Good. So that's my challenge to you from this podcast, is try and take the science out of everything you do today and be a little bit more human with it. Instead of, hey, I need to go take this vitamin D. How am I going to get some vitamin D? Yeah, take that, because you're probably not going to get enough. But how am I going to go get some more today? How can I get outside a little bit? What can I bring somebody with me? Does my next door neighbor? Jeez, does my next door neighbor need to go for a walk? That would be, yeah, one level deeper. Okay, what am I making for dinner tonight? Well, I need 180 grams of protein. Yeah, okay, kind of. But what does your partner want for dinner? What do you kids want for dinner? How can you make it that it's an exciting thing for everybody to make? Maybe it ruins your macros by 10 grams. Okay, but what do you get out of it? What kind of connection do you get out of it from cooking together and like peeling something together and like learning a new skill? What do you get from that? I don't know. Maybe you can just take it one level deeper, right? Then we're thinking about, what are we going to do tonight? What shows are on Netflix is probably what most people are doing. Um, if you're younger than me, it's how long am I going to scroll TikTok tonight? And like, how do you take that one level deeper? Well, to make it simple, I saw this really good TikTok video. Maybe me and my partner will make that. At least you're gonna have some fun with it. At least you're gonna have a connection with it, right? You don't even have to post it. Just take it and send it to some other friends. Hey, we made this funny video. That'd be better than scrolling. So how do you take it just one level deeper? Just something to think about, right? I think what we've done is we've scienced up everything, you know? Look at food. These blue zones, they don't eat that food. There's nothing with a label on it. They grow things, they pick things, they fish things. That's going to have an impact on how they feel, of course. It's better food. But where I think the impact is they care more about this food as nourishment. They care more about this food as, hey, with this, I can make a really nice meal for the 5 people that I really love or the 5 people that I really care about. And we're going to sit around the table and we're going to get a really nice bottle of red wine and we're going to have a great meal. Not, well, um, that has this amino acids in it. And also, if I get this red wine, that's full of what is it that people always talk about? With red wine and chocolate, dark chocolate, they're always like, it's got antioxidants. I don't think they're thinking about the antioxidants. Maybe, but maybe the antioxidant is really the connection they're going to have with their friends and family and laughing and joking around the table. Maybe that's the real antioxidant. Maybe that's why they're living forever. Maybe. But if not, would you rather have bigger biceps or would you rather laugh a little bit more? You can have both, right? But I think what we're missing is how do we take these habits and we just go one level deeper with each one? Just one level. I don't think we have to take it like, I don't think this needs to be like that deep of a podcast. It's just like, are we missing the point of some of this stuff? I enjoyed this workout this morning because I got a great sweat. I felt better. I got stronger. I got better at double unders. I got better at kettlebell swings. Uh, I got fitter in class this morning. But you know what I enjoyed the most? The little conversations that I had, you know, encouraging somebody new, being around good people and smiling and all the high fives. I remember all the high fives. I remember making contact with each person. And I just think we got to just take it just one level, get a little bit more connection. Because mental health, I don't think that is the crisis. I think it's health is the crisis. And we can fix it one habit at a time. We can get you to lose weight. We can get you to feel fit. But we can't get you to connect if you don't want to connect, right? We can't get you to feel fulfilled if you don't take them little steps on top of this to be like, how do I want to wake up? How do I want to feel better? How do I want to live every day? What skills do I want to get better at inside and outside of the gym this year? And why? And how do they have an impact on my life? And how do they have an impact on my well being? And how do they help me connect with my family? I would love for you to think about that stuff and use fitness as the base of that to make sure that 2026 is your year how you want it so that we're not having this conversation and you're like, I got to get in shape because um, I lost my job. Or I got to get in shape because um, I just got this diagnosis. Or I got to get in shape because um, my husband or wife left me. Like, or my marriage is breaking down and now I'm going to get in shape, right? Don't wait for that, right? Start thinking about how you can use these habits to live a better life and make that last 10 years on the end of this the best 10 years where Yeah, hopefully you're retired, but you still do something meaningful because you can, because you're healthy, because this is where you build it. What you do now in your 30s, 40s, 50s is going to tell you who you're going to be in your 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s. And these people in these blue zones live to 100. Please don't let me live to 100 if I'm not able to do the stuff that I'm able to do now. Go to the gym, be around people, go for a walk, go do a 5K, go do a high rocks. I want to be able to do it all. As soon as I'm not able to do all that, I think I'm good. I think I think I'll be good. I think it'll be my time, you know? As long as I'm able to do all that stuff, and if you're not able to do that stuff, ant at ox.fit, and let's get you doing that stuff. Start with the basics and we'll build it up. What do you guys think? I've been going for 40 minutes now, just talking. Hopefully some of that made sense. Like Savannah said, January 10th is quitting day. It's on Savannah's podcast yesterday if you didn't see it. And of course it's quitting day. You can only stick with the goals that you don't want to do for 10 days at the most. At the most. If you hate running and every year you say, I'm going to start running, you're not going to start running, right? Thanks, Beefcake. If you hate going to the gym and fighting for a bench and everybody in there is filming with cameras and you're trying to dodge being in somebody's video while you're trying to work out, you're only going to do that for 10 days, right? If you hate eating salads, you're only going to do that for 10 days. But also, instead of thinking about your goals as things that you have to do, what if it's things that you want to do with your life? What if it's tied to these things that we've been talking about today? What if it's tied to you having a great life? And that's where I like to work with people. That's what I like to talk about. Summarized to perfection, Kiki. Kiki's taking notes, I think, on these podcasts. So yeah, to wrap it up, let's just go one level deeper with people today, this week, in the gym, outside the gym. Start looking in people's eyes again, maybe, instead of at your cell phone. Just put your cell phone somewhere that you can't see it on an evening. And if you want to see what your life really looks like, come along for the ride with me. Start tracking your time. Who cares what you do with this? At least you'll get to see it. At least you get to see how much you're on your phone. At least you get to see how much time you spend scrolling. At least you'll get to see how much time you're what? What is it you're doing? What is it you're doing with your time? Because I think this snapshot of your week, and I don't want to get too deep, but I think this snapshot of your week is a snapshot of what you'll look back on when you're later on in life and have a description of your life. So what does your week look like? I think that's what your life's going to look like. It's happening right now. Let's just try and go one level deeper. Have a great Tuesday. Have a great start to your week. Tomorrow we got a show with Lauren. And then on Thursday, I have a special guest, an Oxfit Hall of Famer, coming on this podcast, live on this podcast on Thursday at 10 a.m. So tune in then. If you need anything from me, ant@ox.fit, drop me a message. And I would love to chat with you about goals, life, whatever. Let's do it. See you at the gym.